All right, welcome to the Real P&L Trading Show, where every week I share my real accounts, each tied to a specific trading system, so you can see exactly how each strategy performs in real time. And I also share my safe wheel strategy for free. Let me get things set up here. I had a little tech issue today, so I want to make sure you guys are all here. You can hear me, you can see me, and give me some feedback because I want to make sure that I am in fact live and that people are here. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the earnings edge. Now, it looks like, unfortunately, the link that I used wasn't the correct link. There was some type of mess up. So hopefully we'll get some people in here live. If not, we'll watch the replay. So uh, let's talk about the earnings edge. What happened with the earnings edge last week? You can see my account here. And y- I didn't, let's see what happened with the earnings edge. I didn't place a trade last week. Let's see what my account, let's see what the net lick is here first. So net lick is 26,727. It's going to be the same as last week. I want to bring over the spreadsheet here. And you can see the last trade was Nvidia, and that was the last one. And I did not make a trade last week because there was no trade last week. Nothing fit through the filters. And so I did not make a trade last week. So since I've done my 3.0 update, I really only talk about my 3.0 update now. I started in 2025. Record is 22 wins, 2 losses, and 1 break even. I have an 88% win rate. And you can see my account balance, 26,727. And my earnings edge, let's see, how did it do in 2022? You can see that I was up 63%, market was down 20. And 2023, it was up 17%, market was up 24, so underperformed there. In 2023, it was down 36 and the market was up 23. That's when I just took a hard look at the earnings edge and found an upgrade and went with that upgrade. And that upgrade is the 3.0, and it's doing quite well, up 341% this year. What's SPY trading right now? SPY is at 670.74, up just a little bit from last week. So the market's up 14.56% this year based on SPY. So that is the earnings edge. Basically, not a lot to report because there's going to be weeks with the earnings edge where I do not place trades because the stocks that I'm looking to trade do not fit through the filters. Okay. All right. Sorry, if you're coming in a little late, it's because the link that I initially put together, there was some type of problem with the tech, so I had to restart the live stream. Okay, so let's talk about the PL5 Pro. There's the PL5 Pro is going to be an interesting. I'm going to make a change here today with that PL5 Pro. But let's go to that 527. You can see the PL5 Pro. It's got 447,245. 447,245. So up from last week, 447,245. And notice that I have the new 3.0 strategy in here, and it's starting from June of 2025. So it's a little different. And I'm going to just start it from June of 2025 because that's when I started the 3.0. And if you have any questions about what happened in the past, you can look at the previous live streams or you can ask me. And I'll try to do my best to remember where it was. But you can see with this 3.0 system because I upgraded it. So let me show you the 3.0 back test results. So these are the year over year results. You can see this is different than the actual what I actually did with my real account because I updated the system. And so I used the back test, and I'm going to start in June because that's when I started trading the 3.0. So these results here, I'm going to fill this in, but they'll be real money results. So these are all back tests coming into until since June 1st. So you can see what I did here, 2015, 22, 9, 2%, 11% in 2018, 5, a little lower in 2019, 108% in 2020. I love that volatility. 2021, 38, 2022, 18, 2023, 12, 13% basically. And then 2024 would have been 22%. So, and then obviously, only 1.4% up to here at this time. But are the new 3.0 system. I haven't pushed this thing out yet. Nobody has access to it. I'm putting together the trade plan and everything to make it simple for everyone that gets involved. But those are the results. You can see that I made money every year with this system. I actually didn't make money with it, right? It's all back tests up until June 1st of 2021. So I have made money with it. I've made about $41,000 with this new 3.0 update. And you can see I'm up 10.27 since June 1st of 2025. Market's up 14.12, so underperforming a little bit there by around 4%. But on a risk-adjusted basis, because my drawdowns are about half of the S&P, I'm outperforming on a risk-adjusted basis. So this is the new PL5 Pro 3.0 system. So hopefully, if you guys have any questions about that, please let me know. I'm definitely not trying to hide anything or anything like that. I did reset the account. I'm admitting that, but I want to be fair to the 3.0 system. I want an accurate description of the 3.0 system. So I'm going to have to start here from when I started trading it live. Okay, so hopefully there'll be some questions about that. All right, so that is the PL5 Pro. Now let's talk about the PL5. This one I'm going to leave alone here. Started July 16th, 2024. And let's see what I've got in the account. I use the IB account. I started with a smaller account, around $30,000. And I can see that my account value is 35,651. So down a little bit from last week, 35,651. So you can see started this one July 16th, 2024. The first, last 6 months of the year did 10.2. The market was up 3.94. And so far in 2025, this system's up 7.82. The market's up 14.56. And these are equal on a risk adjusted basis. Okay. Because they're basically one to one. When the market on this PL5 variant, it's tied to the market. So when the market goes down, it's going to go down with it. When the market goes up, it'll go up with it. So it's more tied to the market as opposed to the PL5 Pro, which is not very, I mean, it's specifically, it is kind of, it is not really tied to the market as much. In other words, when the market goes down, it's not really going to go down, except for on that first leg down, it will. And then if the market goes sideways, it's going to make money. If the market goes up, it's not going to go up as fast as the market. So it has its own personality there. This one's personality is tied to the market, but it has a little extra juice in there, so it can make money and outperform. And eventually, I believe it will outperform. So that is the PL5 variant and the update on the PL5 Pro. Let's see what we get on to next. The safe wheel. So what's going on with the safe wheel account? That would be this account here. I'm in Intel. You can see I'm up 460 bucks, $464 on Intel year to date. 59.39. So let's put that in the spreadsheet. 59.39, down a little bit. I think Intel came down. It was up around $40. Now it's around $35. Now with the safe wheel, I've been trading this live right in front of you since January of 2022. And in 2022, it did 21%. The market was down around 20. In 2023, it did 5.39. The market was up 24. In 2024, it was down 14%, and the market was up 23. And so far this year, it's up 8.38%, and the market's up 14.5. So you can see how it's doing 18.78 versus 41. So the market's outperforming there, but on a risk adjusted basis, again, you get about half the drawdowns with the safe wheel than you do versus the S&P 500. So on a risk adjusted basis, we're at 37% versus 41%, still slightly outperforming. This is a great system, especially if you want to learn how to run a premium selling hedged system and you want to get an understanding of how that works, this is a relatively simple system. It's almost just like the wheel, but it's got a hedge element to it. That's why I call it the safe wheel. All right, so let's go ahead and trade the safe wheel now. So let's see where I am. I own 100 shares. So from a wheel perspective, I might be looking to write a covered call. You can see my cost basis. Well, not my basis was 36 when I got in. I've collected a lot of premium since I've been in this since I've been in the stock. Okay, first thing I need to do is make sure that my put hedge is intact and is good. And there's three questions I ask. Number one, if I own 200 shares, has it paid off? The answer is no, I don't own 200 shares. The other question is the $33 put within 70% of the actual price? Yeah, it's easily within 70%, 33 versus 33.58. The other question is, am I under 100 days? The answer is yes. I'm under 100 days. So I need to move this put hedge. I'm going to roll it. And I'm probably going to put it at the 80% mark. So I'm going to move this strike too. So let me do a little calculation here. I'm going to see what strike I'm going to use. So we're at 3560, 35.6 times zero point 0.8, because that's the strike I want to use. So I'm going to go to the $29 strike or even $30 strike, depending on what's available. And I like to go around 150 days. So let's take a look at where I'm going to go. Right here at the 151, I'm going to go into the April 17th, and then I'm going to go see if the 29 strike's available. Yeah, I'm going to go here. All right, so I'm going to move that put. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit create rolling order, right? Because I'm going to exchange this one for another one. So where am I going to go? Remember April 17th, right? And I'm going to go to the 29. Okay, so I'm actually going to pick up a credit by moving this out, further out. And you make sure that the April one is the one I want. April 17th, yeah. So I'm actually going to pick up a credit here. The mid is 78. I'll try to get $78 for the credit for moving my put hedge. The reason why is because my put is close and it's relatively close and I don't need it that close. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back at the 80% level. So let's go do this. Okay, it looks like I filled that order right away. So now when I look at my put hedge, I'm within 80%. I am good on how many days I have left because I don't want it to depreciate too fast. And of course, I don't own 200 shares. So now this passes the test. Now let's take a look at my long call. I got the $47 long call. That's to hedge the hedge. And I paid $4 for it. I think it's worth $5 now. All right. And now that I have my hedges in place, I want to sell a covered call. And I want to get it at least 36 or higher. Let's see what I can do here. Because if not, and I want to do it in the nearest expiration. Because if I can't get enough premium, I'm going to go ahead. Let me double check something here. Because if I can't get enough premium, I'll have to sell another put. But okay, so I want to get at least the 36 here. I want to get at least 36 cents. I can get right here at the 37 strike, I can get 36 or more cents. So I'd like to go one back. So I'm going to go to the 36.50 and maybe I'll get called away here, but I'm going to sell one at mid is 54. Let's see if I can get $54 or 54 cents. This will expire at the end of the week. Okay, that filled right away too. All right, so here we are. We've got everything we need. ABC, always be collecting. So I collected some more premium. I moved my put hedge. I actually collected premium doing that. And we're all set to go. And maybe I'll get called away from these shares because I'm at the 36.50 level. and we're trading at 35.50-ish. So maybe I'll go up a dollar and call me out, and I'll make money on the shares too. But also, when I didn't really mention the sizing. If I have between five and $10,000, I'll do three put hedges, and I'll do one contract on the wheel, and I'll do one contract on my long call. Okay, so that is the trading for the safe wheel for this week. I only look at this account once a week, by the way. All right, let's see if there's any questions or comments. Rojeg says, hi, how's it going? MS Wendy Mac says, hello, how you doing? I'm assuming you can hear me and see me okay. Mutual 42. Hi, Carl. Do you still have the EE alert service? Yes, I do. There's a link in the description. Also, if you do not have the safe wheel, I put together the safe wheel. I put together a whole model, a whole course, flow chart, community, everything. And right now, I'm giving that away for free. There's going to be a link in the description. I'm going to have to add that link in the description here shortly. But also, if you're interested in the Earnings Edge alert service, you can get on the wait list there. Just get in. There's a link. There'll be a link in the description. I'm going to add that link later on because I had to hit this. I had a tech problem and I had to redo this live stream. So right now, currently, there's no link in the description, but I'm going to add one here after the live stream ends. Philip, good morning. Will says, looks like two live streams, but the chat is more active here. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure that other live stream was active or for real. So I'll have to kill that live stream too. Had some tech issues. I think they upgraded their software here. I use a company called StreamYard. They upgraded their software or something, and then just things went crazy and wacko, and I wasn't able to get online. Sarkis says, how can we learn about the PL5 Pro, the 3.0? Well, there'll be a link in the description where you can get on a wait list. Sometime between 1 month and 2 months from now, I'm going to do a training session on the PL5 Pro, and I'll talk about the 3.0. John, hey Carl, does the current high IV impact the starting a new safe wheel consideration? No, I didn't take into account the impact of the IV. If I have okay, so let's say that the I'm dealing with elevated implied volatility right now with Intel. Well, because of that, I can take advantage of the puts or the covered call that I sold. I can get that further out of the money. And so I can take advantage of that higher IV when I'm selling my premium. So, yes, I might have to pay more for that higher IV when I buy my puts, but I'm also able to take advantage of that higher IV when I'm selling my premium. So it kind of evens itself out. So I don't really take that into consideration. Okay, let's see here. Philip, what is the safe wheel? It's basically a wheel strategy, but it is hedged. So you don't see those heavy drawdowns. And the problem with the wheel is you get stuck. The wheel is basically what you're doing when you run the traditional wheel. You're filtering and filtering and filtering stocks and filtering until you get losers. And then you get a loser in your portfolio. Then you filter and filter and get a loser and filter and get a loser. And all of a sudden your portfolio is full of losers. That's basically how the traditional wheel works. Now, that might take 6 months, it might take a year, it might take 2 years, might take 3 years, but eventually you're going to end up with all losers in your portfolio if you run the traditional wheel. That's the problem with the traditional wheel. Well, how do you prevent that? Well, you can run the safe wheel, which you can run a hedge alongside that. You want to make sure you're not overpaying for your hedge, right? And you want to make sure that that hedge is protecting you. And I have a whole course put together. I've been trading this since 2022. And there's going to be a link in the description here that you can actually sign up for the course right now for free. It's for a limited time. So that's what the safe wheel is. Good morning to you. MS Wendy Mac, you're so generous, Carl. Thanks for the safe wheel strategy. You're welcome. I appreciate you letting me know that. Philip says, is safe wheel another name for your strategy to buy around earnings? No, the safe wheel is not related to earnings. Well, semi is a tiny little bit, but no, I wouldn't relate earnings and the safe wheel together. It's not an earnings play at all. The safe wheel is not an earnings play. Philip says he's new here. Yeah, that's okay. I'm glad that we're getting these questions because there's other people that are new here too, and they're probably going to have the same questions as you, and they might not ask the question. So I'm glad that you're asking. Well, any chance you can put a link in your description where you can see all your products on one page, like a menu, even the books? Absolutely. In fact, all of my live streams have a link in the description for all my products. So, except for this one, because I got to put them in there because this is a tech issue, but I'm going to put that in there. Yeah, they all do. I appreciate that, Will. Sarka says, how do you cover the cost of the long puts in the safe wheel? Well, the long puts are 150 days out, so they don't depreciate that fast. And since they semi hold their value, I'm able to sell short term premium to cover that cost and then actually come out ahead and make money. For example, today I sold a call for $54. I mean, if I make $50 every week, my hedge is not costing me $50 every week. It's not depreciating by that much every week. You can see I paid $1.76 for it. So in essence, if I go through about 3 weeks collecting this money, I'm almost paid for the hedge. Okay. Philip says, is it the 6+3 filters? That has to do with the earnings edge, Philip, not the safe wheel, if that's your question. Utro, can you share the earnings edge alerts link in the chat? Absolutely. Oh, in the chat. Yeah, if you just give me a quick second here, I can pull that. I think I can get to it. It's going to take me a second. Yeah, I'm not really going to be able to get to that very quickly. Just go to my last live stream. Just you just go into my channel and look at any live stream, and you'll get access to that link. For me to go pull that link out right now, it's just going to be people sitting here watching me on the computer, so I really don't want to do that. Um, John B. Hi, Carl. This strategy recommends stocks around $30. Doesn't it work with higher price stocks? It does, but I haven't back tested it with higher price stocks. But yes. Also, what about buying 220-day leaps instead of the underlying? You mean like a poor man's covered call? I haven't back tested that. It would probably work, and you'd probably get a better return on capital doing that. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'd have to back test it. I like the idea, but because I have everything already set up with the safe wheel the way that it is, I'm not really going to tweak it because it's just done and it's working. But if you have a variant like that and you want to back test it and share those results with me, that would be pretty interesting, and I would like that. But yes, you can use it with higher price stocks. You just got to back test it, and also, you just pretty much double everything. But you've got to figure that one out because to put hedges, you got to make sure it's at 80%. So there's a little tweaks that you got to make to it, but I haven't done that because I just went with the stocks around $30 to make it easy. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible to follow, and all these extra tweaks are for people that that understand this trade and they can tweak it there on their own and make those changes. Philip says, where can I find out how to do the safe whale? You can find out link in the description of any of my recent videos over the last 3 months. There'll be a link in there, and there'll be a link in this particular video after I post it. He's Mutual says he'll check last week's chat. Yeah, no problem. Thanks. John B says, thank you so much for your help. I'm tempted to buy the software you're using and backtest it. Yeah. Uh, if you backtest it using the software, Option Net Explorer is the name of the software. It's a great software. I recommend it highly because not only when you backtest, not only do you learn the system, but you also, when you backtest, you figure out how you can backtest other things. So if you have any ideas, you can just backtest them. It's really great software to use for that. Highly recommend it. And if you do backtest the safe whale, you'll understand it really, really good. Once you backtest something, you really understand it really well. So almost it's better than actually trading it. In terms of how to learn it. Backtesting it is really the way to go. You learn it really quickly. All right. I know I'm on a slight delay here, but all right. One thing I like to say in parting, if the P&L is not real, what else are they trying to conceal? I appreciate you guys, and I'll be back next week. We'll see you then.